Hi guys. Today's lesson is about unbiased and biased samples and making a prediction based on a sample. So that's what we're going to learn today. Um, we're going to start off with unbiased and biased samples by reading this comic. I'm going to go ahead and read it to you guys, and you can go back and you can read it for yourselves or listen to it again if you need more clarity in helping you answer the 8 questions that follow. So this is called a statistical home run. Looks like a small crowd. Oh, excuse me. Warming up for the Eagles' second home game. Looks like a small crowd again tonight. Bethany, you'll be up first. Then Miko, Isabel, and hey, coach, how come the stands are half empty this season? It seems like more people came to watch us last year. I wish I knew. It's a shame, too, since you girls are playing so well. Maybe we should do a survey to find out. You mean like a poll? Sure, we could ask everyone on the team, plus catch some people in the stands right after the game. A survey is proposed. That would be easy to do, and we'd get some answers back quickly. This would be a convenient sample, since the members of the sample are easily accessed. The only problem is everyone here is already a fan, so we'll only get one point of view. This type of sample could be biased and therefore not random. So the sample they're talking about here by asking just the fans in the stands is biased. It's not valid. It's called a convenient sample because the people that you're going to ask are conveniently located to you by being right there in their stands. They don't have to go and do much to get the information. But the problem is that by asking the people who are already there, they're not really going to have a good idea of why the people who are not there because they're not asking them. All right, so moving on. But if we mailed a survey to everyone, most people wouldn't even mail it back. A voluntary response sample, which is what this is called, involves only those who want to participate. So this one is also biased, not valid, and not random, because when you mail something out and you're asking people questions, there's no guarantee that you're going to hear back from everybody. You're only going to hear back from the people who want to participate, who want to answer those questions because maybe it's something that they're interested in or they're going to get something out of it. So that's what makes it biased. All right. I bet they would answer questions from us in person. You're right. If we went to every house in town, we'd get a lot of info. That would take forever. How about every 200th house? Well, that wouldn't give us enough to work with, but every 20th house might be enough. Sounds like a plan. This is an unbiased random sample. Specifically, this one is actually a systematic random sample, meaning that by them systematically choosing to go to every 20th house, it will make it random, and they're going to get information from people, and they don't know whether the people at every 20th house are people who are already going or not to their games. So it is random, it is unbiased, and it is a valid way to conduct their survey. The following Saturday afternoon, a random sample is taken by the team. We're down to our last 4 houses, then let's go to Lisa's and tally the results. The farm team over in Clarksville plays on Friday nights, too. I'd come to see you if I could, but I've got season tickets this year. Thank you, sir. We've heard that same thing a lot today. I wonder if Coach will let us switch our schedule. Later in the season, now on Thursday night, looks like the whole town is here to see us tonight. That survey really paid off. Go, Isabel! Great hit! All right, so these are the 8 questions that you guys need to answer. You're going to answer them, so type them out, respond to them in an email to your teacher. Make sure you answer all 8 questions, and make sure you write in complete sentences and that it makes sense. So read it to yourself after you write your answers. Excuse me, type your answers. Read it back to yourself to make sure that it makes sense. All right, so now we're going to talk about making predictions based on surveys. So here's an example here. It says a store sells 3 types of pants: jeans, capris, and cargos. The store workers survey 50 customers. Those results are shown right here in this table. The survey responses are indicated in the right. Okay. If 450 pairs of pants are ordered, how many should be jeans? So we're making a prediction based on what we've got here. We're going to try and figure out, okay, well, if 25 out of 50 people said that they would choose jeans, then how many out of 450 people? Well, just looking at this, we know that this can be simplified to 1/2. So we're thinking, what's 1/2 of 450? Well, that's 225, right? That would make those equivalent fractions. So that's how we should be thinking about this. If it's not so easy to see when you simplify this half of the proportion, then you can solve the proportion. And we know that if we divide 450 by 50, then we would multiply 25 by that same number to figure out what this is, or we could multiply 450 by 25 and then divide by 50 to figure out what this is as well. Couple of different ways we could solve that. Just more proportions, which we've been talking about all year. So let's try this one. The library is trying to decide what type of books to sell at its book fair. It surveyed 40 students at random. The results are in the table. If 220 books are to be sold at the book fair, how many should be mysteries? Again, we're making a prediction. So we're going to look at this as a proportion. So we know that originally 40 people were surveyed, and of those 40, 12 said mystery was their, or 12 of them were mysteries. And so now they're saying, okay, well, what if we sell 220, or how many would be mysteries then? So that's what we're trying to figure out. So a couple different ways we can solve this. We can take 220 and divide by 40 to get the number that we're going to take 12 and multiply by to figure out what this should be. So if we do that, and I know that you all have calculators, so why don't you go ahead and use those? So if we do that, we can take 220, divide that by 40, we find out, oh, it's 5.5 times. So 40 times 5.5 is going to give us 220. 220 is 5.5 times larger than 40. So that means whatever this is, 12 times 2.5, excuse me, 12 times 5.5, I'm just making up my own numbers here, whatever I want, I guess. 12 times 5.5 gives us 66. So basically, if 220 books were sold, we can predict that of the 220, about 66 of them would be mystery novels. That's what that is saying. That's our prediction. Okay, so let's try this one. All right, so in this one, it says the dentist's office kept a record of its times that patients arrived late for their scheduled appointments. I'm going to make this one smaller so we can see everything. All right, so what we have to do is we're going to have to go through each of these because it says which statement is best supported by the data. So we have to go through each one of these answer choices to figure out which one best supports this data. So patients are more than 10 minutes late most of the time. So more than 10 minutes late. First of all, when we add all of these up, it looks like we get 100. Okay, so patients are more than 10 minutes late most of the time. 5 out of 100 doesn't seem like very much. That means 95% of the time is everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and eliminate A right now. B, patients are late less than half the time. So let's see. Everything, this is late, this is late, this is late. This is on time and this is early. So we're just not going to include those. So 40 plus 20 is 60 plus 5 is 65. Patients are late less than half the time. Well, half the time would be 50. Less than that would have to be something less than 50. These added up together give us 65, so it can't be this one either. All right. More than a third of the patients are on time or early for their appointments. So let's see here. on time and early are these two combined. So that would give us 35. Is 35 more than a third? It's a little bit more, but yes, it's still more. So I'm going with this one right now, but I want to just rule this one out totally to know that I'm right. Most patients are between 5 minutes, 1 second to 10 minutes late. So it says most patients. That's 20. 20 out of 100 is not most patients. So let's see, 1 second to 5 minutes. Most patients are between 5 minutes, 1 second to 10 minutes late. Yeah, that's this one right here. So I know it's not this one. Now I know I'm really right, and C is the correct answer. Let's try the next one. All right, we're making another prediction here. So a neighborhood association surveyed 40 randomly chosen people living in the neighborhood to determine what parts of the nearby park they used. Of the 40 people surveyed, 18 people said that they used the swimming pool. If there are 480 people living in the neighborhood, how many people would be expected to use the pool? It's another prediction. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our proportion. So they originally surveyed 40 people. Of the 40 people they surveyed originally, 18 said that they would use the pool. We're trying to figure out how many of these people, if they surveyed 480, would use the pool. Well, there's one thing I know for sure is that 4 times 12 gives me 48. So I'm going to go with 40 times 12 gives me 480. So then I know all I have to do here is multiply this times 12. And I'm just going to get my trusty calculator out, clear this out, and check it. 18 times 12, and I've got 216. So let's see. There it is right there, 216. A quick and easy way to check that is just to see divide 480 by 216 and 40 by 18 to see if we get the same thing. I'll just go ahead and do that real quick. 480 divided by 216 is 2.22222. So 2 2/9. Or let's see, we said 40 divided by 18 and we've got 2, so we get the same thing. All right, guys, so now you're going to, you got to answer those 8 questions after the comic. Email your responses to your teacher. Don't forget to put them in complete sentences and to check your responses when you're, after you've written them, typed them. Also, you're going to have about a 3 to 5 question quiz to take on Canvas or in Canvas in your assignments over lesson 9-4. So you'll need to go look for that. If you have questions, reach out to your teacher. And I hope you all have a good day and everybody is continuing to stay safe and well.